or African formal. Red carpet, we're going to do it big. Just like the BET Awards, but this is going to be for the woke people. In this first year, we're going to dedicate it to our elders. We want to give them their roses while they're still here. Baba Jeffries, Baba Smalls, Mama Kwesi, Baba Kwesi. There's a lot of elders out there. I wish we would have had the Unapologetically African Award sooner, because we just lost one of my personally favorite Grandmaster teacher elders, Dr. Renoko Rashidi. Fellow Garveyite. He took the COVID vaccination. And he succumbed to it while he was in Kemet this past August. He's an ancestor now. Fellow Leo, fellow Garveyite. The first time I spoke with fellow scholars on the same stage was 2004. Dr. Renoko Rashidi, myself, and Dr. Tony Martin, who was the historian of the Garvey movement. He's an ancestor too now. And it was them two and myself at North Carolina Central University in Durham, UNIA ACL East Regional Conference. Renoko is an ancestor because he took that damn shot. Elders, please think twice before you take that shot. COVID is killing us and it's killing our elders. Cicely Tyson, greatest black pioneering female actor in American history, took the COVID shot. She's an ancestor. Hank Aaron, black baseball legend, ancestor. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, former middleweight boxing champion. He took it and they tried to hide it, but Tommy Hearns, his former adversary turned friend, exposed it. He blew the whistle. Tommy Hearns said, nah. Marv told me he took the shot, and right after he took it, he got sick, and then he went into the hospital and he died. Yeah. DMX took the COVID shot.
He did?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think Colin Powell took it too. But they're not going to say it. Look at that. Killing old folks. And elders, the worst thing you can do is take COVID and go take the flu shot too. I heard a white lawyer on TV say the worst thing you can do is combine the flu vaccination with the COVID vaccination if you're an old person. It's a recipe for early death. And what do our elders do around this time every year? You see them at the damn Walgreens getting the flu shot, and nobody's telling them the older you get, the more toxic the flu shot becomes. And now you're mixing that with the COVID. And then Joe Biden think he got a right to tell people what to do with their bodies. Take the shot or you don't work. Everybody knows the COVID shot for Negroes. When you ever see the United States government pay you to take a vaccination? Give a free laptop for taking a vaccination. They was ramping off new houses just for taking a damn shot. They ain't do that with nothing else ever in your life. We ain't never get a free lottery raffle for taking a flu shot, because they need you to put that in your body. I can see it as plain as day. 20 years from now, you know it's going to be all over the TV and the newspaper? 20 years ago.
8 years.
Every black person who took the COVID shot during Joe Biden's administration is coming up with cancer and suspicious types of urinary tract infections and brain hemorrhages and heart attacks and strokes. They know what they're doing.
Dr. Umar, it's going to be 8 years from now.
Exactly. Won't even be that
It
long.
won't even be 20 years from now. It'll be 8 years.
I'm not putting that in my body. And there's 3 reasons why they released the COVID. Number 1, get rid of as many old black people around the world as they possibly can, because according to the United Nations, the amount of elderly is projected to swell. And why are old people a problem for white capitalism? 2 reasons. Under capitalism, you are only useful if you can work for me, I exploit your labor, or you can buy from me, I exploit your dollar. All of us are useful to capitalism because we work for them and we buy. Old people don't work no more.
That's right.
And old people don't need to buy much. But old people depend on the society for their upkeep. So the selfish white man says it would be better to kill off all the old people so we ain't got to deal with them. That's why they're trying to kill your Social Security. See, COVID was to help get rid of all the old folks who are going to need Social Security the next 10 to 20 years. Yes! Second reason they dropped the COVID bomb is they needed to sabotage second and third world developing economies, particularly in Africa. They said these African countries, they're growing too quick. They're getting their own cryptocurrency and all this other stuff. We got to do something about this. Drop the COVID in there, destroy the whole market. They did it in America too. Destroyed everybody, didn't Used to have 2 main movie chains. Now you only got 1. All types of stores is closing. Ain't never opening ever again. This is what it was supposed to do. Make everybody indebted to the international banking cartel again. So they could come in and play the hero and savior of the day for a problem that they created. And guess what? COVID ain't even the worst thing they got. They got stuff worse than that coming down the pipe. They just warming you up. They just warming you up right now. They working on all kind of biological weapons. And you better be careful about taking these ancestry DNA tests. I'm not telling you don't. I'm just saying be careful. I ain't taking one. I don't need to know exactly where I'm from. I'm African. I'm good with that. Because in case you don't know, the #1 business of the DNA ancestry companies is to sell your DNA to the biological weapons lab. And there's a part of me that says one day, a long time from now, it's going to come out that a lot of these ancestry companies that black people have been paying to find out where they come from in Africa were nothing but government fronts to make sure they had a sampling of everybody's DNA in their database. Have you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks?
Come on, man. That's right.
I'm not taking no answer. You notice how you never get your sample back? What they do with that saliva? They sent it to Bill Gates. That's right. They want to make sure they have and then when they want to blame you for some type of crime, they just go find your DNA and plant it at the scene. Oh yeah. You have no idea how diabolical those people are. So you need to understand something. The white man comes from an ice culture. The Arab comes from a sand culture. And the Chinaman comes from a mountain culture. You're the only one who comes from a sun culture. That's why you know how to treat people, but they don't know how to treat you. They don't understand that. See, let me give you the Iceman and Sunman story. Come on with it. When God created man, he created the sun people first. They lived under the land of the sun. And the sun gave us everything we needed. We had water. We had fruits on the tree. If we got hungry, we could just grab an apple, grab a banana, grab some papaya. If we wanted some fish, we could just go get some sea bass, get some trout, get some flounder, get some salmon. When it got cold outside, we had every animal we want. You want some skunk? You want some chinchilla? Whatever you want. We was blinging. We was flossed out. And because the sun always provided for us, because Mother Nature was so kind to the people of the sun, we never developed a manipulative personality. We never developed a scheming and deceptive personality. See, we came from a culture of abundance. So we never worried about if water would come when we ran out because we knew God would send more. We never worried about if there's not enough fish in the sea, will we one day starve to death? We knew that Mother Nature would bring forth more fish. So for us, we grew up in a culture of giving and sharing and looking out for other people. That's why even now, you don't feel comfortable eating if it's another black person there not eating. Do you want some of this? Because that's who we are. We're the sun people. The sun give us everything. It's enough for everybody. So we didn't come from a culture of scarcity and lack. We came from a culture where there's enough for everybody.
That's right.
That's why we didn't have no old folks homes, because we never threw our old people out. That's why we didn't have no prisons, because nobody had to steal for what they needed. It was enough for everybody. There was no mental health asylums. Nobody went crazy because all their basic needs were met. That's African people. The sun. And then one day, for some reason, I don't know if God got drunk. I don't know what happened. But God decided to make ice people. And they evolved and grew up in a climate. Come on in, family. They evolved and grew up in a climate full of ice, brothers and sisters. You know those fruits you had on the tree? They didn't have none of them. Too cold. That fish used to give out of water, they didn't have none of that. Too cold. All those animals that you could catch and eat their meat and use their fur to keep you warm, they didn't have none of that. It was too cold for them animals to even come nowhere near them caves and mountains. So the white man had to adapt, and he started growing hair on his body. This is why they're so hairy today. That was an adaptive evolutionary strategy of their biology to try to keep them warm. And because there was no fresh meat to eat, they had to eat the flesh of their conquered dead. When white people died, they had to eat that because that's the warmest thing they got. They the original cannibals, not you. And because in the ice, it was never enough to go around. This is how he learned to be such a thief and a schemer and a manipulator. He had to be that way in order to survive the ice. So he learned how to deceive people, how to con people, how to scheme people. Where you think the saying cold-blooded comes from? You say that was cold-blooded. How did you steal from your best friend like that? That was cold-blooded. You took your man's queen. That was cold-blooded. How you gonna take mama fake teeth like that? Cold-blooded is when you do what? Hurt somebody who you should otherwise care about. Cold-blooded, that's the white man. He is ice cold. And then one day, the white man got so tired of being in the ice, he said, we need to go for a walk. And they came out them damn mountains with their hair and bad breath and funky stink asses. And they came on down to the land of the sun. And they walked in and saw us, and we just partying and everything. I got my bling bling on doing the electric slide and everything. And we saw them. And the sun woman was like, whoa, who these people? They funky? But because we were so nice, we welcomed these funky things in. We had no idea who they really were.